For the first court appearance by the suspect in the Highland Park mass shooting. He's charged now with 7 counts of first-degree murder after another victim died yesterday. And we know this morning the identities of 6 of the 7.
It is with a heavy heart that I bring to you the names of the victims of that tragedy. 64-year-old Catherine Goldstein of Highland Park, 35-year-old Irina McCarthy of Highland Park, 37-year-old Kevin McCarthy of Highland Park, 63-year-old Jacqueline Sundheim of Highland Park, 88-year-old Stephen Strauss of Highland Park, 78-year-old Nicholas Toledo Zaragoza of Morelos, Mexico. We have also been notified that there is a 7th victim that died at a hospital located outside of Lake County.
As you heard from that briefing, the victims included Irina and Kevin McCarthy. Their 2-year-old son was found wandering alone. He's been orphaned in the shooting. A GoFundMe campaign raised more than $1 million in a matter of hours. Now, as for the investigation, police have revealed that there were 2 previous interactions with the suspect. And we're going to get details on all of that from Magda Gabriselassie. She is live with us in Washington, following developments for us. What is the latest? We're hearing a number of briefings from Highland Park, Magda. What is the latest on the investigation this morning?
Well, we are expecting for Crimo to make his first court appearance today, and we do know that more charges are expected. We heard yesterday from officials that we can expect dozens more, in fact. And really, this is to represent the many victims in this case. As we know, 7 people have been killed. There were about 30 people that were injured as well. And so we can expect more charges like attempted murder, aggravated battery charges as well, including more charges to come. Now, what we learned yesterday is that Crimo planned this attack, is what police said, and that he took steps to conceal his identity to get away from the scene after the shooting, appearing to dress like a woman to be able to escape the area. And what we also learned late yesterday is that Crimo was actually known to police, that there were 2 incidents where police were called to the house. The first one being in April of 2019, police saying that they were called because someone said that Crimo had attempted to take his own life recently. The second time they were called were months later, when police say Crimo had threatened to harm others. Take a listen.
The second occurred in September of 2019. A family member reported that Crimo said he was going to kill everyone, and Crimo had a collection of knives. The police responded to his residence. The police removed 16 knives, a dagger, and a sword from Crimo's home.
Now, he wasn't arrested at that time. Police saying they removed those weapons, but Crimo's father then came forward to say that those knives were his and the knives were then returned. What we learned in that press conference as well is that months later, Crimo's father sponsored him to be able to get a firearms owner's ID, to be able to essentially purchase weapons, and that eventually Crimo was able to purchase 5 weapons legally, one of which was used in this shooting, according to police. So there are a lot of questions right now as to why this happened, how he was able to get these weapons legally, and whether he should have been to begin with.
A lot of questions, and certainly, Magda, a great deal of anger at these new revelations, given the state of Illinois has strong red flag laws and weren't met in this case. What kind of fallout are we hearing about today?
Well, what we heard from the authorities is there was nothing in his record that would have prevented him from being able to get these weapons. He was legally allowed to get these weapons. He was sponsored by his father. He passed several background checks because he wasn't arrested in these incidents. And so what we've been hearing in reaction to all of this is what we've heard when there have been other mass shootings, calls again for greater gun restrictions. We've heard that from the governor of the state. And we continue to hear that. As you know, here in the U.S. recently, Congress did pass a gun reform bill, one that was signed into law by President Biden that put into place things like expanding the background check on people trying to get weapons between the ages of 18 to 21, and also incentives for states to put in red flag laws, which is those laws that allow for weapons to be taken away from those that may be deemed to be a danger to themselves and others. And yet, many are saying that didn't go far enough, that more needs to be done. It's something that we've heard from the Vice President, Kamala Harris herself. She, in fact, was in Highland Park yesterday meeting with the mayor. But prior to that, she was speaking to educators at a convention in Chicago. Take a listen to what she had to say.
There is no reason that we have weapons of war on the streets of America. We need reasonable gun safety laws.
She and others have called for a ban on assault weapons, which hasn't been the case as of yet. That's not something that Congress is willing to do and hasn't been willing to do as of yet. But again, the calls continue for more greater gun restrictions here in the U.S.
We'll watch that debate even as we keep an eye on that court today for the first appearance by the suspect. 7 counts of first-degree murder. Magda Gabriselassie, thank you very much.